The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. Police investigating the country's latest murder. A boy dies in an Abaco house fire. And school officials withdraw labor. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, August 26th, 2025. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be here filling in for Duquesa Dean. Also this morning, we are talking with the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union. They've made a number of threats. They have a number of issues. We're going to get into all of that with them this morning. That's all ahead. That'll go into business. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you're sleeping at the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, police investigating the country's latest murder. A man found lying down near a burning vehicle on Munnings Road off Gladstone Road last night. Police telling reporters at the scene that investigations are still ongoing to determine exactly what happened. Officers say they were on routine patrol around 8:15 p.m. when they discovered the victim, described as a man in his early 40s, near another vehicle while the nearby car was engulfed in flames. The killing coming hours after 3 separate shooting incidents in New Providence that left 4 men in the hospital. A 10-year-old boy dying in a house fire on Abaco early Monday. Police say officers responded to the blaze in Crown Haven shortly after 3 a.m. Police reported that the structure was destroyed. The cause of that fire unknown. A man who allegedly seriously wounded 3 people in a string of unprovoked stabbing attacks in New Providence could face an upgraded charge of murder after one of his alleged victims died in the hospital on Monday. Police announced the death of 62-year-old Shedrick McPhee hours after 40-year-old Warren Major was formally charged with the attempted murders of 3 men. McPhee was walking along University Drive around 9:30 a.m. on August 18th when a man alleged to be Major stabbed him in the neck and the chest. McPhee was on a ventilator in the intensive care unit until his death. On the same date, Vernon McPhee was asleep in his home near C.C. Sweeting School when he awoke to someone stabbing him. And on August 19th at around 9:50 a.m., Major allegedly stabbed bus driver Eugene Neely in the neck after he boarded his bus on Farrington Road and asked him for money. After fleeing the bus, Major allegedly punched a woman who was walking punched her multiple times. Major was not required to enter pleas to the attempted murder charges when he made his initial court appearance before Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley. He was denied bail and returns to court on November 20th to receive a voluntary bill of indictment that will send the case to the Supreme Court. Major did not have a lawyer. A man sentenced to 18 years in prison for causing the death of his girlfriend, 52-year-old Delroy Wright, received the sentence as part of a plea deal after pleading guilty to manslaughter in the July 30th, 2024 death of Teresa Knowles. When he appeared before Justice Dale Fitzpatrick, Wright had initially been charged with Knowles' murder. The prosecutor, Corinne McVean, telling the court that Knowles came to Wright's home at Homestead Street on the morning in question. While there, Knowles told him that she wanted to see him and another man. This caused an argument that turned physical, and Knowles threw Wright to the ground. When he got up, he beat Knowles in the head with a galvanized pipe and went outside to cool off. When Wright came back inside, he realized Knowles was dead. He covered her body with a sheet and plastic bag, and because he couldn't bear to see her that way, and called the police and told them what he'd done. Knowles and Wright had a son together. As part of the plea deal, Wright will receive credit for the 1 year and 19 days he spent on remand. Following his release from prison, Wright will be on probation for 2 years. A breach of probation will result in a default sentence of 1 year. And National Security Minister Wayne Munro says that the FNM's recently unveiled plan to fight crime in the Bahamas is a repetition of measures already in place. Munro saying in a statement the safety of the Bahamian people is too important for politics, saying that the FNM, quote, is late to the conversation, recycling ideas instead of bringing fresh solutions. During a press conference on Sunday, FNM leader Michael Pintard unveiled a 10-point plan he said his party would enact if elected. With public schools preparing to reopen, nearly 500 members of the Bahamas Educators Managerial Union withdrew their labor Monday over outstanding issues. BEMU President Stephen McPhee saying the decision followed a series of meetings between union and Ministry of Education officials. Those meetings were aimed at resolving existing issues, including concerns relating to salaries, benefits, understaffing, and promotions. But McPhee says the parties did not reach a solution or a resolution, and the government officials failed to live up to their promises. Overseas, for the first time, Britain's government has agreed to pay out millions in pounds to Kenyans to settle a civil lawsuit after its military forces had their legal immunity in Kenya lifted. The payout of 2.9 million British pounds, or $3.9 million, to settle damages for a wildfire accidentally started by British soldiers in Kenya in 2021 follows a landmark ruling that stripped the UK government and British Army of immunity from Kenyan civil suits. That has opened a new chapter in accountability for foreign military's actions on Kenyan soil, and the British military deployment in the country faces a series of controversies over the conduct of personnel both in Kenyan and UK courts. Over 7,700 Kenyans and an environmental lobby group had filed a class action suit before the Kenya Environment and Land Court, accusing the British Army training unit in Kenya of destroying more than 12,000 acres of the Laldega Hills in central Kenya in 2021. The British government admitted that the fire had been started accidentally by a soldier's kerosene stove. The blaze took almost 2 weeks to put out and caused the death of one person and an unspecified number of animals. Locals said toxic fumes from the fire caused health issues, including respiratory complications and damaged eyesight. An environmental assessment presented before the court showed that the fire caused extensive damage that would take between 30 and 50 years to tackle. And 2 police officers killed and another seriously wounded in a shooting Tuesday at a property in a rural part of Australia. The gunman remained at large as police scoured a vast remote area. The shooting occurred in mid-morning when 10 armed police officers tried to execute a search warrant on a property in a town just over 1,000 people in Victoria, a town of just over 1,000 people in Victoria State, about 200 miles northeast of Melbourne. The suspect killed a 59-year-old detective and a 35-year-old senior constable. The officers were apparently met by the offender and were murdered in cold blood, according to Victoria's Chief Commissioner of Police, Mike Bush, at a news conference. The man fled alone, we're told, on foot and heavily armed into the surrounding forest, where hundreds of officers were still searching for him. In sports, Jazz Chisholm Jr. reaching two major milestones in Major League Baseball over the weekend. The Bahamian professional baseball player knocked out his 100th career home run and scored his 300th run overall, his 100th in the majors. He later connected for his 101st, and then last night he blasted his 102nd, giving him 3 home runs in the last 2 days. The next closest to him among Bahamians is Andre Rogers, who finished his 11-year career in the 60s with 45 home runs and 268 runs scored. Chisholm's big day on Sunday included 2 home runs, both 2-run shots, helping the New York Yankees beat the Boston Red Sox 7-2 at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Also came a night after he lost his best friend. On Monday, he finished with a 2-run home run in 3 at-bats against the Washington Nationals, and the Yankees won that game 10-5. Read more about that in today's Guardian Sports section. And the Bahamas' 6-member team at the 2025 World Aquatics Junior Swimming Championships in Romania, ending Sunday with no medals, but collectively they turned in some spirited performances over the 6 days of competition. All the details in today's Guardian Sports section. And from tennis, Venus Williams lost her first Grand Slam match in 2 years. But she says it will be her last match of 2025, but it didn't really matter to her. At 45, she's the oldest singles player at Flushing Meadows since 1981, and she smiled and laughed and joked through her post-match interview and her news conference, saying that just a pain-free return to Grand Slam tennis means more to her than any loss. Good for her. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. And in your first look at weather, we've got a severe weather warning, a thunderstorm warning in effect for Grand Bahama and Abaco and the northern Exuma Keys. Thunderstorm watch is also in effect for South Andros and Eleuthera. This is until 8 a.m. this morning. So the Department of Meteorology says that their lightning detection radar and satellite imagery depicts a line of moderate to heavy showers and thunderstorms moving across these areas. And some of these showers will be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times, causing strong gusty winds, dangerous lightning, heavy downpours, possible hail, and possible waterspout or tornadic activity. Boaters in these areas should immediately seek safe harbor, and residents in the warning area should remain indoors. So again, that is a Severe weather warning, a thunderstorm warning in effect for Grand Bahama and Abaco and the northern Exuma Keys, and a thunderstorm watch for South Andros and Eleuthera. The rest of your weather for today. We've got another heat advisory in effect for the country between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Everyone's being advised to remain hydrated, limit time outdoors, and avoid rigorous activity as heat indices remain in the triple digits. So we've got high pressure that remains across the country, supporting gentle to moderate breezes, but lingering troughing near the northern Bahamas will produce a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, mainly over the northern and northwestern islands. That high-pressure ridge will continue across the country for the remainder of the week, but a prefrontal trough will move across the northern islands by Wednesday or early Thursday. There is a moderate risk of rip currents along Atlantic coastal beaches, and again, UV indices and the heat index will be high to extreme, especially for the central and southeast Bahamas. Again, everyone's being advised to limit outdoor activities, stay hydrated, and wear protective clothing. Your forecast for today for the northern Bahamas, extreme northern islands, including Grand Bahama, partly sunny with occasionally cloudy periods, variably cloudy at night, a 20 to 30% chance of isolated showers or thunderstorms. Winds light and variable at 10 knots or less. For the rest of the northwest Bahamas, including New Providence, a mix of sun and clouds today, becoming fair at night, a 20 to 30% chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms. Wind southeast at 10 to 15 knots. For the rest of the country, central and southeast Bahamas, partly sunny, becoming fair tonight. A 10 to 20% chance of showers and isolated thunderstorms. Winds southeasterly at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts for the central islands, and easterly at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts for the southeastern islands, especially in Nagua. Look for high temperatures today, getting up to as high as 93 Fahrenheit, 34 Celsius, but the heat index will make you feel like it's 105 Fahrenheit, 45 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to around 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. We'll have more in your extended outlook and a look at the tropics coming up in just a bit. This weather check brought to you by Star General Insurance, made simple.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way.
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Who's the real MVP of the soil, the hero of the harvest? The Agrarian Awards 2025 is here, and we want you to nominate the farmer who's growing greatness in your community. 8 categories up for grabs and a chance to win up to $50,000 in cash prizes. Brought to you by the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources and the Agricultural Development Organization, honoring the hands that feed the nation. Visit adobahamas.org to submit your nomination for the Agrarian Awards 2025.
This October, Bahama invites you to indulge your senses at the Culinary and Arts Festival, where world-class flavors meet breathtaking creativity in the heart of the Bahamas. Join us October 22nd through 26th for an unforgettable celebration featuring culinary legends Marcus Samuelson, Dario Zucchini, Simeon Hall Jr., and Scott Conant, alongside a vibrant lineup of chefs and mixologists. Explore captivating art installations, interactive workshops, and live performances, all set against the stunning backdrop of Nassau's premier luxury resort. From curated tasting events to beachfront feasts and immersive gallery experiences, this is more than a festival. It's a feast for the soul. Tickets and packages are going fast. Visit bahamar.com to reserve your spot at the Culinary and Arts Festival at Bahamar, where taste and talent take center stage.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or are tech troubles simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
Back to school just got easier at Carey's Fabric and Uniform Store on Mackey Street. We've got school shirts with official embroidered logos for R.M. Bailey, S.C. McPherson, A.F. Adderley, Kingsway, Queens College, L.W. Young, and many more. From shirts and blouses to jumpers, skirts, shorts, and pants, we've got uniforms for almost every school in the Bahamas. So, skip the stress and shop at Carey's today. Call us at 393-0758, 817-0758. That's Carey's Fabric and Uniform Store, where back-to-school shopping is a breeze.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the Know-How team at 396-1101.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, Anyway Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. Anyway Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me today, Laverne Gardner filling in for Duquesa Dean. They're going to do a little switch this week. Great to have you with us on a Tuesday morning, Laverne.
Good morning, Dwight, and good morning to our listeners.
Hope everything's going well with you.
Yes, it is. And I
Wonderful
hope
stuff.
everything's well with you too.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, you sure?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yes, of course. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot happening in the news, but also we're going to be talking, and they've been making news. The Bahamas Taxi Cab Union, they are not happy with a lot of things, including what others are doing. They're saying people are coming at their business from all directions, and they have had enough. They've threatened that they will block up the bridge to Paradise Island and lock up the airport if they have to. But we'll talk to them about all of that this morning. That's coming up. But right now, let's get into what else is in the news. And in the news, Laverne, do you remember a time when in the Bahamas, even Nassau, the summers were pretty quiet and not much happened? Do you remember?
I absolutely remember those days.
Do you remember? It was just like, oh my God, it's so boring.
It's years and years ago, but
It
I
feels like
remember.
decades. Yesterday alone, just wow, what's happening? What's happening? Bad news after bad news after bad news. We heard the story coming out of Abaco, a young boy, a 10-year-old boy dying in a house fire.
Oh my God, yeah.
That blazed shortly after 3 a.m. in Crown Haven. The structure destroyed, cause of the fire unknown, but a 10-year-old boy lost his life. Very sad to hear that. Then a number of shootings over the past few days, and last night a murder. A man found lying face down near a burning vehicle on Munnings Road off Gladstone Road. Police telling reporters at the scene that investigators were still trying to put the pieces together to determine what happened, but officers say they were on routine patrol around 8:15 p.m. when they discovered the victim, described as a man in his early 40s, near another vehicle while the nearby car was engulfed in flames. A killing coming hours after a number of incidents. We'll get to those in a bit, but that is the country's latest murder. Lots of rumors circulating around about who that victim was. But, yeah. So, our Latonya Roberts writing about it in today's Nassau Guardian about the other incidents. So, police investigating 3 separate shooting incidents on Monday alone in New Providence. 4 men hospitalized. The first shortly after 1 a.m. when a 28-year-old man was shot in the Blue Hill Road area. Police reported that 3 men got out of a green vehicle and shot him multiple times while he was seated in a white Honda. The suspects fled north on Blue Hill Road and were still on the run. The victim said to be in critical condition in the hospital. Then, just after 5 a.m., a 43-year-old man was shot at a business on Mount Royal Avenue. Police reported that a separate police unit discovered a 48-year-old man shot on 6th Terrace. And according to reports, that man had been at the same business and got into a dispute with the man who shot him. Well, these two. Okay, that's interesting. The victim left the establishment and ran for safety, and I guess that's when they found him on 6th Terrace. Wow. Wild, Wild West. Both victims were taken to the hospital where their condition was unknown. And then police reported that shortly after 9:30 a.m., a 24-year-old man was shot at an establishment on Blue Hill Road. According to reports, a man attempted to rob him at gunpoint. After firing shots at the victim, the suspect fled the scene on Blue Hill Road. The victim taken to the hospital where his condition is uncertain at this time. Police say the suspect was wearing a gray hooded jacket and blue jeans. Police appealing to anyone with information on any of these to contact them. And as we said, that ended in somebody being murdered last night. Wow. Wow. And you heard this coming out of the courts. We told. Okay, not sure what's happening. I'm not hearing anything at all. Everything. You're hearing me? And I can't hear anything going on. Wow, a man stabbing attacks in New Providence could face an upgraded charge of murder after one of his alleged victims died in the hospital on Monday. Police announcing the death of 62-year-old Shedrick McPhee hours after 40-year-old Warren Major was formally charged with the attempted murders of three men. McPhee was walking along University Drive around 9:30 a.m. on August 18th when a man alleged to be Major stabbed him in the neck and chest. McPhee was on a ventilator in the intensive care unit until his death. On the same date, Vernon McPhee was asleep. And we're to believe they're not related. Is that what's going on here? On the same date, Vernon McPhee was asleep in his home near C.C. Sweeting School when he woke to someone stabbing him. On August 19th at around 9:50 a.m., Major allegedly stabbed bus driver Eugene Neely in the neck after he boarded his bus on Farrington Road and asked him for money. After fleeing the bus, Major allegedly punched a woman multiple times who was just walking. Major was not required to enter pleas to the attempted murder charges when he made his initial court appearance before Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley. He was denied bail and returns to court on November 20th to receive a voluntary bill of indictment that will send the case to the Supreme Court. Major did not have a lawyer. All right, so not sure what's going on here. I can't hear anything, and that's not going to work, so we got to take a break while we sort this out. Laverne will be back if you can hear me. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up. It's a new day. Wake up. It's a new day. Wake up. It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, wake up.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
Tired of sifting through endless resumes? Need a bigger pool of qualified talent? JobBrief is your solution. We connect you to over 10,000 professional candidates. Take full control with our digital services, or let us handle the entire process for you, from pre-screening to skill assessments. You just interview and hire. Simplify your hiring now. Visit jobbrief.net. That's JOBREEF.net.
Wake up, it's a new day.
Okay, so we got that sorted out. Sorry about that. You said everybody could hear me, but it's like it's a surreal experience. I couldn't hear myself. Laverne, yes, you're good?
I'm good.
Okay, you see that long pause. You had me scared just now. But anyway, okay, we're
No,
good to go.
my mic was muted.
So, boy, I tell you.
No need to panic. I could always hear you.
That's wonderful. All right, so that story is extremely disturbing, the stabbing spree, and as we said, the victim, the first victim, it seems, passed away. So those charges will need to be upgraded to murder, but this accused perpetrator here is clearly not well. And this is what we're talking about, right? When he is sentenced, what will it be? Will it be enough to deal with his serious issues? Because we absolutely don't need anybody like him back on the streets, randomly stabbing and punching people and killing people. Killing people now. This is really awful. And this person says here, it's a text. Last week you briefly mentioned the serial stabber. You mentioned that 3 people were stabbed in the University Drive area. I thought that it's important to note, yes, we just said that. The first victim died from his injury to his neck, the injury to his neck. He was a 61-year-old who recently retired from BPL. He was a decent family man who was very friendly and kind to everyone he met. The media should do a follow-up story and hopefully on the other victims. Hopefully the other victims will be okay. Yeah, that's a great idea. We'll pass that along. Thank you very much. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable that could be happening. Just minding your own business, going about your day, and some lunatic, for no reason, stabs you in the neck. Wow. Oh boy. Yeah, very, very sad. So all this is happening while the 2 major political parties are back and forth on who has the best plan, and they're all very similar, and every day, multiple shootings, people are dying, but they're out there making noise. What do you say about that? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. The Davis administration says their plans, their anti-crime plans are already in place and working. What do you say? Do you agree? Do you feel it? Does it seem that way? 4 people shot yesterday. Again, random sprees here and there. And you feel better about anything? Caller, let's hear from you. What say you? Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Stewart.
Hi.
Yeah, I'd like to send a condolences out to the 62-year-old. I'm 61, so I'm saying it's me, right? I was very disturbed by that, Mr. Strachan, because sometimes I jog around that area, but it'll be early in the morning. It's a scenic area to just get a peace of mind. But what was most disturbing for me was not the fact that it was a 62-year-old senior man, but that's why I try to keep myself physical, Dwight, because I was trying to figure out when I read the story and I saw it was 9:30 a.m., Mr. Strachan. That was what was most disturbing for me. You understand me? At that hour, big day. You understand?
Yeah.
And I had called the station over and over and talked about the types of people that hang around. It was frightening for me. It's just near the university, and so as I spoke about some psychic people, some crazy people or whatever, demented in that area, like where you could see, like even they trying to commit suicide by traffic, or there's something. I was talking about the lack of psychological intervention on the authorities' behalf, because as citizens, it's time now that we obviously we are aware. Guardian is doing programs about the amount of people with these problems moving around, right, Mr. Strachan?
Mm-hmm.
But nothing is being done. So what I'm saying is, if you care about people, especially, I don't know. I guess you have to protect yourself now, because it's really ridiculous. You're a senior man. You're moving around. The government is seeing and hearing these reports, but somehow there's no ordinances or nothing, no intervention. You can't grab these people, put them somewhere, analyze them, do something, do some type of intervention, because what happens is it endangers the public and everyday life and movements, and that's what is really frightening for me. I just couldn't deal with it. But and then if the person attacked you and you end up hurting them, then it's a problem. So what I'm saying is, be in battle in any which event, but you don't have the right to protect yourself. And these type of people, there's numerous of them, especially in that area. You know, it's really unbelievable. We need to do something about it.
Yeah.
And then the fact that politicians, they hear people saying these things, and we have a proliferation. Some of these people, I heard them. One of them is actually a deep party, and some of them actually conversate with themselves. I don't know if you see that and hear that.
Almost all.
You notice the amount of people on the red lights too. So you become more apprehensive when people approach your car and ask you for money, because I think if it said that somebody asked someone for some money and they said no, when he stopped in the Farrington Road area, somebody had asked them for money and they said no. So this is very frightening. I normally give them money, not because I'm afraid, but because I can understand what they're going through. But then suppose you don't have it, you see what I'm saying? And then females, et cetera, et cetera. And even so, there's an area by Columbus Primary where the police, what I mean is the police, they didn't publicize this enough. You have to be physically aware of your surroundings. Let's say Columbus Primary Road. There's a wall that actually has a gate open. Somebody could actually stand behind that gate, and as a person stopped, like a female getting up late in the night, because I travel Collins Avenue sometimes late, and they could actually come from behind that wall if you're not looking and commandeer your car. So it's a lot of things that the police need to be aware of physically and stuff like that. And you notice the areas in the night are poorly lit. A lot of the areas are poorly lit. I don't know.
The whole island.
Yeah, we love darkness. Yeah, give thanks. Yeah,
thanks a lot. Yeah, it's scary. And that's our area. That's right where the studio is, right? Just off University Drive. And you're right. There are a whole lot of people who are, I don't know what to call them, but they're all here. You got people living on roundabouts. You've got people up and down, all near the university, up and down University Drive, Nassau Street. It's just insane. But this is not the only area. It's all over the island. And as 52 said, doesn't seem like anybody is doing anything about it. Nothing at all. The numbers are growing. Same people. The people you saw a month ago, you might see a few of them, but they're new people. What's happening? And Laverne, that's growing in Freeport too, right? The last time I was there, I was struck by the number of people I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Which was unheard of just 10, 15 years ago.
There's been a significant increase in people just walking around, clearly not just needing financial assistance, but needing like medical attention, mental attention.
Yeah.
It's definitely been an increase.
Wow. Let's take this call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
And good morning, Laverne.
Good morning.
Hi, Dwight. Dwight, you Laverne, you believe we in denial, or you believe we under a denial spell in this country, or spirit?
I'm sure some people are, and clearly not everybody.
Well, I mean, that's clear. Well, I mean, when I say we, I talking with the people would really respond to some awesome things. See, because we are protectors of this nation, we are, and I believe they are falling down, right? And what's taking place national security wise in this country, because it appears that nobody really cares. Like I walk in the mornings, right, in the west, in Carmichael areas, right, and Dwight, just like what you always talking, every morning, right, you could see these people coming out of their little places where they slept for the night, because once the sun started to rise, they have to vacate those locations until the night come again, right? And these things, I mean, from an area of Fifth Avenue to possibly where the police station is, right? You could find at least 4 to 5 persons sleeping right in that vicinity on Carmichael Road. And that's only right there, right? That ain't past there or before you reach there, right? But the point You think social services, anybody from this past and see this situation? Maybe you mean like the directors or because we can find ourselves in shanty towns making sure that people and they need the help. But what about the citizens, man? I mean, they don't have it ain't nothing for them. Nothing. No, man. It has to be something, man. Because at the end of the day, like you said, the numbers are increasing, and it appears, we have about 1,000 churches and all the rest of these, or what you call it, inside these areas. And I believe if a few of these churches, them could just say, look, we can take this room over here, and we can house 2 of them, then there's 2 off the road. But we have about 1,000 churches on the road, right? So there's a lot of things, a lot of people could do, but at the end of the day, I know the problem is the problem is money, right? And being able to take care of these people once you house them, because they're moving in the Bahamian realm no more. We just have to face this reality. When it comes to the Bahamians, money moving in our cycle no more, Dwight. You guys have a nice day.
Well, okay. I mean, I think that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I get what you're saying. It seems to be hotter for some other people, or almost any other set of people. I get what you're saying. Caller, you are on the air. Before we get to these text messages, hi, good morning.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
This matter is, I wouldn't want to use the word vagrant, but we have seen an explosion since on these street corners. In particular, back it used to be one person. Now it's almost like a person on every side of the street. And it came really quite noticeable even after the pandemic. We've been saying these things on the open airwaves now, and I'm pretty sure that yes, we could rely on social services, but social services could only do so much. As the previous caller said, the church could only do so much. My thing is, I believe that this situation is not a one-sided thing. This has to be two-sided, because some people could do for themselves a lot better than they are, but because they saw that this way is an easy way to get that assistance, they just abandoned everything and just decided to stand on the side of the street and put their hand out. I mean, it got to a point now where even now children are out on the street doing the exact same thing. And you wonder where they're sent out to do it, or two, is a learned behavior because they saw their parent out doing it. I don't know as a society what we are going to do now, because the horse is already out the gate. All of the ideas have already been presented. We already called on all the relevant agencies to lend assistance, and yet this thing still persists. So what is the end result? I think we really, really got to sit down at the table and really map out a strategy on how we are going to attack this and the many other social ills that we have to try and clean up this island. Yeah. Because, trust me, this thing ain't going nowhere soon. Okay. But thanks for taking my call.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, it is getting very hard to see. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a lot of text messages here. This person says here, I don't know if the victims were stabbed for no reason. It was apparent he was asking for money. I think our society needs to do a better job of taking care of males. Seriously? Come now. Yeah, that's no reason. If I say I don't have any money and you stab me for no reason. That's foolishness. Taking care of males. Really? Like males with disabilities, with issues, or just everybody needs to be babied? What are you saying? Which one? Okay. Can we please call on President Trump to send his National Guard to Nassau immediately to deal with the crime? Normally I would have something disparaging to say about this, but actually it did cross my mind. It'd be, They say they haven't had a murder in Washington, D.C. since he did this. Like, really? Well, maybe we should deploy our defense force. What do you think? Should they just take over the streets? What do you think? Would that do something? Is that where we are? I keep telling you, it's all stuff, little stuff to everyone to get away with the little stuff that we are at this point. Yesterday,
Of course, 'cause, it just escalates,
yeah,
like you say, and if we crack down on those things that we see as minor, as no big deal, I think you'll see an adjustment in behavior over time, right?
this little hatchback demon yesterday. I'm at a red light, and there are only 5 cars in this line, and this monster in this little stupid car decides he's going to overtake everybody to be in the front of the line. And I blow my horn at him, and he slowly extends his middle finger, and there was a car in front of him, and the light turned red on him, but he still decided, even though all the other cars were coming at him, to play through. And I'm like, where's an out of control when you need one? But no, it never happens like that. But this is the thing, right? So he can do that, and he will do that 200 times today and 400 times tomorrow, and thinks he can do whatever he wants. Why not take this thing that I see on the table there? No one's around. I just want it, and I'm going to take it. And it just escalates from there to there to stabbing people in the neck if they don't give you money. And if you think that's a leap, well, then pick up a paper.
No, it's not a leap. It's, the feeling of, in some cases, that feeling of there are no consequences. You just keep going. But there are people out there on the streets who need to be in an institution.
Okay, you mean not the drivers, but those, I think some of those too,
No.
clearly. The people like him.
There are people who need to be in an institution.
Yeah.
That's where they need to be,
And
not
on medication.
just a period of time. They need help to manage whatever they are experiencing.
And this is
So
my...
you have that.
Mhm.
And then also, Dwight, what the last caller talked about, there are people there's a gentleman, I call him that's on the streets out here hustling money every day, right? And people know his family, know that this is his choice. This is how he chooses to live. And he does that from the morning and tells you he hasn't had anything to eat, and the whole 9 yards, but that is his chosen profession, for lack of a better term.
No, now
But
was
then-
just an example. You actually know this to be the case. With one
No.
person.
I know this to come to Grandma. I'm sure if you're on one of the corners, if we're together, I'll point him out to you.
Oh boy, and he'll still be there, I bet. Wow. And this is the thing. So with the two parties and their crime plans, if you notice, it's about the big stuff. It's about tackling murder and those very violent crimes, but very little said about little stuff. Now, you could infer possibly that Pintard means that when he says more police, but then not necessarily. We've been adding to the police force, and there's been no effort to crack down the little stuff. It just doesn't seem to be what we think we should be wasting resources on. And that's interesting, right? Wasting. It just doesn't seem to be what we think is needed to get a handle on the perception of lawlessness in the country. And it's really dangerous. And until we get it, we'll never deal with the big issues. We'll never get a handle on it. This is just insane to me. It really is. Some more messages before we get back to here. All we do in this corrupt, rich country is talk. We're running a lawless country in all sectors. Why can't they buy, that's not how you spell buy, some helicopters and do the job, or get out of the way and let people who love the country govern? Okay. We need to sue the government or the family of these crazy people. Then they would listen. Okay. Well, the PLP crime plan is definitely working, but only in gated communities with 24-hour security. Oh, boy. For the rest of the country, not so much. Well, again, anyway. The recent surge in gang activity and the tragic loss of so many young lives in New Providence is more than a crime issue. It's a national crisis. All it would take is one incident in a high-traffic tourist area or a visitor caught in the crossfire to devastate our tourism product and economy. While law enforcement cannot be everywhere, proactive intelligence gathering is critical. This means in gang-affected communities to build trust and vital intel, because often those who might speak up feel unsafe to do so. Our reactive approach is failing us. We must act now, not only to stop the senseless killing of our young men, but to protect innocent lives and safeguard the livelihood of our entire nation. All right. Well, yeah, you could do that, or you could just talk to people, apparently, because every time somebody's murdered who was in a gang, all the messages, all the voice notes, all the pictures, everybody seems to have known the person was a big thing in the gang. So I don't know what type of games people in this country are playing, but carry on smartly, because obviously you like this. So whatever. But everybody knows everything. Everybody knows who's getting beat by their husband, murdered because they're in this and whatever. So seriously? Intel, like infiltrate the gangs? Yeah. Okay, you could do that. Or just go on Facebook. Caller, good morning, you're on the air. Are you there? Hey, good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning, I'm Dwight.
Good morning.
I'm not a big man in this country. I'm a small man, similar to you. We can't sweat the small and the big stuff simultaneously.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't want to put no nonsense into this idiot head and cause them now to be targeting the small man and forgetting these big, gigantic stuff that you see big people involved with, and they are getting a slap on the wrist. We could do both simultaneously. And we can't run this country. This country don't have no mountains and terrain. And you're trying to tell me now the authorities don't know exactly what to do? These individuals, Dwight, most of them around 18, 19, 20. In 20 years, Dwight, this is the type of behavior that we are producing.
Wow.
And the politicians playing football, this one saying this one recycle, this one saying the next one. What are they doing, man? We are doing over 100 murders, Dwight, for 100. 5 murders for 100,000 is the world standard. Look at where we are. They could address this issue simultaneously, sweat all stuff if that's what they want to do. And I have no issues with that. But don't say the small stuff is the reason why we are at this point. We need to start prosecuting politicians and corrupt senior civil servants backside and sending them to jail just like they do to the small man. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they are building this $50 million. They can't be building for the small man. But they shouldn't christen that. They should go into the same system what these individuals find themselves in on a daily basis. But we could correct these problems, right? These things, I'm sure they put you in as Minister of National Security, you'll see some difference. Because you know exactly what to do. And you're saying these smart men don't know what to do? You got to be getting me, man, right?
Well, either they don't know what to do or they're not as smart as we think. But thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yes, you have to do everything. But I'm telling you, a lot of those people who are in the big positions doing the big stuff started out by getting away with the little things. Yeah. Let's take another call. Good morning. You're on the air. Good morning. Are you there? No? Okay. This is a very unusual text. I think they tried to send this last week, but...
And it just came through today?
No, they sent some of the details.
Who's your service provider?
Right. They sent some details, but now it's a longer text with more information. All right, so they're saying, I'll never take responsibility for the... There is a car wash with an immigrant working directly in front of a bar on the main. They're giving the details right before Hawkins Hill, where the Department of Immigration is, really. And they told the Bahamians across the street that they will burn down their building because the bum who was in their yard that used to wash cars there is now completely out of work and upset. The bum. I called immigration, the police, beaches and parks, and the car wash closed for 2 days, and they're open again, and it takes 2 weeks to get permission from the police, so I know it's illegal. Oh, so which one is it? Is it illegal because they don't have a license, or is it because they have undocumented immigrants working there? Which one are you saying? They're saying that, it's illegals live there. It's okay. Lots of details. So don't blame Bahamians for this corruption. So whose cars are they washing? Only like undocumented migrants bring their cars to this undocumented migrant business? Or Bahamians patronizing it? Because this operation could be closed in no time if everybody stopped going. No? But anyway, it's amazing that
If everybody stop going and we continue to highlight it so that the powers that be can do what they need to do. But if you know it's not legal, and I'm not to the texter, I'm just saying, we're part of the problem. Because we go into these places knowing that it isn't legal. They don't have all the documents that they need to have to open like a business license and all of that. But you leave and you talk about it, but you're still spending your money there.
So the text gets worse. They say it's amazing that the Haitian-owned bar, the people are parking all over the place in front of everyone else's business, and they're making the road look like a shanty town. How can you have a car wash 22 inches away from the road on the sidewalk of a main road that has businesses on it?
It's allowed.
I wanted to sell baskets, and beaches and parks ran me, but the Haitians can do anything they feel.
Is the texter saying there are other businesses in the area?
Yes.
So what are the other businesses doing? Those who are paying their license fees and everything else, every other charge that you have to pay to open and have a business in this country. What are they doing? Have they banded together to say, you know what, this is unsightly. We don't want this in our area. This is negatively impacting our business. Our customers don't have anywhere to park. Those things, are they doing that?
Okay. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. This sounds weird.
To pass the information on to the relevant authorities, Dwight.
Wow. So this person says here.
Let's see if something happens.
I hear you. This person says here, so as someone who had to wear an orange jumpsuit to complete court community service, why haven't I seen anyone else in a bright orange jumpsuit with community service on the back? I feel like you said this text a few years back. That's a good question. They gave you a special type of humiliation for whatever you did wrong. But I have not seen that. Only on TV. Laverne, do you all do that? You've seen it, Mr. Producer? No, we've not seen it.
I just want to ask the people where we do that.
You must have done something horrible. What did you do? What did you do? Wow. And where did they make you do this? That's rough. Okay. Please warn the public to be cautious while working out on Goodman's Bay as vehicles are driving along the footpath and across the park on a daily basis. Talk about lawlessness. Wow. Is it possible those in authority may be fueling the high crime wave? Things possible. Did you know or read that this person was found in an abandoned building? It's very scary that he was committing this crime while in a school area. You're talking about the person on the stabbing spree? Imagine if children and college kids had been around. That's a serial stabber. Can't we pick up these vagrant people and demolish or renovate these abandoned buildings? Wow. A very known and affluent person from one of the private communities was linked to the discovery of a cache of high-powered weapons not long ago. At the heart of the issue is the proliferation of illegal firearms. There was an opportunity to send a very powerful message that all are subject to the laws of the land. Yeah, I hear you. When last has any patron of a business asked to see a license or employee's work permit? We pay government a salary to regulate and police these matters. Interesting point. And we got to go to the news. This person says that Laverne and the other businesses called the police. So this is the same story because they threatened to kill them as well. It's a Haitian-owned business, and yet other and immigration came and did not carry anyone, and it's not 22 inches away from the sidewalk. It's 12 inches away from the road. Wow. Oh, boy. All right, so this is wild. We got to go to the news. We'll pick this up on the other side. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
LA's fine sunshine most of the time, and the feeling is laid back. Palm trees swaying, rents are low. These things that I don't think about.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow, Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 4224796. Standard text rates apply. And now, day 24, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. So the thunderstorm warnings have been lifted that we told you about earlier. They are cleared for now, and we still have that heat advisory in effect for today between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Everyone's being advised to remain hydrated, limit outdoor activities, limit time outdoors, and avoid strenuous activity outdoors, as heat indices will remain in the triple digits today. So high pressure remains across the islands, supporting gentle to moderate breezes. Lingering troughing near the northern Bahamas will produce a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, mainly over the northern and northwest Bahamas. And the high pressure ridge will continue across the country for the remainder of the week. However, a prefrontal trough will move across the northern islands by Wednesday or early Thursday. So we've still got a rip current risk. There's a moderate risk of rip currents along Atlantic coastal beaches. And again, UV and heat indices will be elevated greatly. So for today, for the extreme northern islands, partly sunny with occasional cloudy periods turning variably cloudy at night. A mix of sun and clouds for the rest of the northwest Bahamas. About a 20 to 30% chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms across the northern and northwest Bahamas. For the central and southeastern Bahamas today, partly sunny, becoming fair tonight. A 10 to 20% chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms. Across all areas, though, we're looking at highs getting up to as high as 93 Fahrenheit, 34 Celsius. But the heat index will make it feel like it's 113 Fahrenheit, 45 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to around 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. In your extended outlook, for Wednesday tomorrow, partly cloudy in the northern and northwest Bahamas, partly sunny for the rest of the country. variably cloudy at night. Still a 20 to 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms for the northwest and northern Bahamas. 10 to 20% chance elsewhere. Thursday, partly to mostly cloudy. Pretty much the same for Friday. Into Saturday, partly sunny, becoming cloudy by afternoon in the northern and northwest Bahamas, partly sunny, and variably cloudy at night in the central southeast Bahamas. Rain chances up a bit. By then, for the northern and northwest Bahamas, holding through to Sunday. In the tropics, we've got a couple areas that we are watching. There's Tropical Storm Fernand out in the Atlantic, and not going to be a threat to anybody else. But tropical cyclone formation not expected during the next couple of days. That's your morning blend weather check. Brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Ready to refresh your space? We'll head to your local Sherwin-Williams for premium paint, pro tips, and everyday deals that make it easy to get started. And time for a look at traffic, brought to you by RBC. With RBC, reaching your goals happens here. In your real-time traffic right now, we've got a number of hot spots to tell you about as we are gradually seeing that increase in traffic as we get closer to more schools reopening for the new school year. So Milo Butler Highway is busy for you this morning from just north of Fire Trail straight up to Tawny Williams Darling Highway, the northbound lanes there. Tawny Williams Darling Highway seeing some heavy traffic westbound towards that roundabout. Got a bit of congestion on the Milo Butler Highway side north of Carmichael Road. You're going to be seeing that there for you northbound and even a bit southbound. That's south of the Fire Trail roundabout. Over on Blue Hill Road, busy for you just north of Soldier Road as you approach Independence Drive. And on East Street, heavy, slow-moving traffic for you north of Soldier Road on the way to the East-West Highway roundabout. Pockets along Prince Charles Drive, the major intersections like Beatrice Avenue, and as you get closer to Soldier Road into Robinson Road, Old Trail looking like not a place you want to be unless you have to be there. Both directions, north mainly though. And pockets along Wolf Road, mainly westbound at this hour. Seeing a bit of congestion on West Bay Street near the caves. Unusual at this hour, so keep that in mind if you are out there. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers. Get a quote however it suits you. Stop by your nearest branch or get an instant motor quote online at nuainsurance.com. Quick questions for big decisions. They've got you covered.
Get ready to kick off the new school year with a bang. It's the Guardian Media Group and Rotary Club of South Ocean's Back to School Jamboree. Friday, August 29th in the parking lot of the Nassau Guardian in Oaksville, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Join us for a day of fun, games, and back-to-school excitement. We've got something for everyone, from bouncing castles and face painting to health screenings, hair grooming, and giveaways. Meet some of your favorite local businesses and get ready for the new school year with all the essentials. We'll have school supply vendors and local eateries with delicious treats. Don't miss out on the fun. The Guardian Media Group and Rotary Club of South Ocean's Back to School Jamboree. Friday, August 29th at the Nassau Guardians parking lot, 11 a.m. to 3. The perfect way to celebrate the end of summer and get excited for a great school year. See you here.
Brought to you by The Walking Clinic, Boss, Alive, FML, Asa H. Pritchard, Nassau Agencies, Original Parties, Caribbean Bottling Limited, Purity, Ari the Artist, Little Caesars, Marco's, Wendy's,
Sherwin-Williams Bahamas doesn't mess about when it comes to product range and product knowledge.
If it's a new product come in the store, we walk the store and study that product.
One thing with our boss, if a new product comes in, he takes the time and he's always keeping us up to date with product knowledge. And we just had 9 weeks of different products that we had to study, and we had exams at the end of each product.
Yeah.
The only way we could sell the product effective, we have to know that product. Yeah, that helps us to relate to our customers. It gives us better knowledge to know what product to introduce to them. You understand? So we can know what product to give them to use and what product not to give them to use. So product knowledge is really key in Sherwin-Williams.
They got the keys. And the key is the product knowledge that comes with our extensive product range at Sherwin-Williams Paints, Bahamas. Find color in every day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you stability. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Things may be tough, but Wendy's got you covered. Grab a day single or chicken sandwich with a junior fries and 16-ounce beverage for just $6.95. Why choose less from the other guys when you can get more? At Wendy's, we're providing bigger bites and better deals. So purchase your Tings Tough Value Meal today. Now available at all locations excluding the airport and food truck.
Looking for more job opportunities in the Bahamas? JobRief is where talent meets opportunity. We make it easy to connect you with employers in your field. Use our free resume builder to get notice and our free paycheck calculator to know your worth. Your next career move is waiting for you. Stop searching and start your journey today. Visit our socials at JobRief or visit jobrief.net to get started. That's JOBREEF.net.
Now let me see now. 326 EPIC. Hello? This Epic battery. This Miss Beulah from round the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 Epic. We ship also to the Family Island.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I took a page out of your favorite book. You sold me lies just by the way you look. Taught me a language that I'll never speak. Baby, that ain't for me. That ain't for me. I dug my grave watching the way you move. You took me higher than I ever flew. Too many times gave you a second chance. Baby, I'm just a man. I'm just a man. No more thinking about you late night. No more running around with your friends now. They're picking the pieces of my soul about the floor. I said I would die for you, baby. Now can you take this pain no more? I thought I was willing, but tonight I saved my life when I showed you the door. I don't wanna lose you, baby, but I can't play this game no more. I thought it would kill me, but tonight I saved my life when I showed you the door. You never thought this day would ever come, but I looked you in the eye
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner on this Tuesday morning. Coming in a few minutes, we're going to be talking with the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union. A lot to talk with them about. It's going to take us into business as well. That's all ahead, but we continue our discussion about what's in the news, talking about the crime situation. 4 people shot yesterday in 3 separate incidents, a shooting, a murder last night, and stabbing spree last week. One of the victims in that has died. Just a lot going on, folks, a lot going on. And you can continue to send your messages. Text us 422-4796. Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, and a call us toll-free, 242-300-5720. All right, let's take this call. This person's been holding for a while. Are you still there, caller? Good morning.
Good morning, Laverne.
Hi, Laverne. Are you still there, right? Yes.
Laverne,
she's muted.
good morning, Laverne.
She can
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Good morning.
Yes, and good morning, Dwight. You notice I get protocol right this morning, right?
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because we hail you first, and we forget that ladies in the house, you know?
Right.
But this is GNN, Grammy Boy, Nana Boy. Dwight, all of the callers prior are correct. There's only one thing Cleaver down command. My boy who fixed the phone them forgetting though. It lies within the persons that we send to the House of Assemblies and the different departments that are in charge to do our bidding. That is where a lot of the problem lies. Yeah, we got our little 5 cents to our citizens and stuff. We accommodate that kind of stuff. But the ones that can make laws and they put a lot of this at their feet. Because some of them are lawyers, some of them, their craft is to protect criminal persons or to represent criminal persons. And they have decided we ain't going to do diddly. Because why hurt our craft? So when we demit office, we got to face the same thing. So we could put a lot of that at their feet. Nana Boy is going to tell you something. Right, do you and Laverne and the nation remember when we had a mass gathering of about 12 to 15,000 persons and I'm not making this them versus us thing, but I'm just showing you how steep and corrupt this country is. When we had 12 to 15,000 persons gathered at Joe Farrington Road, and the then Prime Minister, Perry Christie, and the Bahamian people almost knew nothing. You remember that, Dwight?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, 12 to 15,000 miles from the president of Haiti came here, and we basically knew nothing. Now, the question would be asked is, I wonder if there too, what I understand, Nana Boy understand, he stayed at one of our top, I ain't call no name, Dwight, so take your finger off that button. He stayed at one of our top number men's place in the country. That's how he was able to sleep. Okay? Fast forward. Hello?
We're listening. Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, Dwight. It is alleged. You notice I say alleged 3 times, right? Because I know you that finger button that quick.
Mm-hmm.
That one of the world's leading, let me see how corrupt this place is, leading wanted men has been in the Bahamas twice this year. I ain't calling no name. Has been here twice this year. With on both of occasions, he brought 2 of his mistress to catch himself. Now you would wonder how he get here, what transportation he come on, and where he stay. But he been here twice, and I got this from one of my top buddies, who is perfectly stimulated in this kind of Haitian descent in the Haitian League of Pastors, and that person is none other.
I didn't cut you. I'm waiting to hear.
Pardon me?
Did you say a name? We heard nothing.
The person that has been here twice with both his missions to catch himself from the war-stricken country with barbecue. Been here twice for the year. You hear it?
Which part of the country? Allegedly.
Nassau.
Oh, wow.
Nassau. Been here twice. And I got that from a top Haitian pastor who don't like what's going on in the community and in the country. I can't call no other names. But like we need to take this country serious. We need to take our heads off the sand and take this thing very serious. Now, our Minister of Foreign Affairs, everybody asking, why are all these people getting here? They coming in by flights now. They ain't coming in by no boat no more, right? But we was concerned several months ago when our Minister of National Security, the Maori with Turks and Kickers, and opened a brand new embassy. And we was wondering what that was for. But now we see we got people coming that way but can't speak English. The girl got to help them down. They follow the application with being in passports. We need to take this thing serious, Dwight. Laverne, thanks for taking Nana boycott.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much. Laverne, do you have any comment on that?
I'll say this. You know, there's so many, we'll say allegations, because we don't have proof. But, you know, does anybody ever investigate? It seems like everybody knows something.
Everybody.
Except the people who have the power to do something.
No, I wouldn't say that. I say everybody knows everything except for me and maybe you.
But I'm just saying,
I think those people know more than most, but yet here we are.
So many times people are calling and they are alleging this is happening, that's the thing. I have proof. What happens beyond the calls? You know, at what point is there an investigation after so many people have said it that the relevant authorities say, you know what? Let's just take a look into it.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Let's take one more call, and then we got to move on. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Laverne. Good morning, Dwight.
Oh,
Alan
okay.
Johnson.
Good morning.
Yeah, we're establishing the protocol.
I'm going to take my time and hurry up. Dwight, you know, one of your afternoon shows made an important point to me yesterday, so I need to be more exacting, and because language is important. So let me just use language very carefully. So far, the Progressive Liberal Party has revealed a strategy, a crime strategy, and the Free National Movement have revealed their crime strategy. To date, I have yet to see a plan, a crime plan, from the Progressive Liberal Party in the last 4 years. Maybe somebody has. And, you know, a strategy lays out an overall approach.
Well, I think it's semantics, Alan. I mean, they're calling it that, and you don't think it is that.
No, I understand that, but it's important because, you know, Chicago language is correct. A strategy is an overall approach, flexible blueprint, term, short-term goal or vision. But here's what the plan has that we have yet to see from government, so we could be able to see, are they meeting KPIs, efficiency, is the resources being provided? The plan is a detailed, organized scheme of action, resources, and timeline to achieve a specific objective. And so when the Progressive Liberal Party says they have presented a plan, I'm calling BS on it, because they should lay that out to us to say, here is what it is. Do we know, are they meeting the key objectives in the cars they promised? Are they meeting the key objectives in anything they want? Because they have not told us. We know are they allocated the correct number of resources so we can see the gap analysis of where they was and where we need to be? And
so you need to be more detailed. Now they'll say, "Hey, crime is down. All major crimes are down."
No, but that crime is down.
But they'll say our thing is working.
But see, that's the separate part. That's an analysis of the result, the data, and they can provide the detailed data because they're the ones that have it. But even so, when they say we have a shortage of vehicles or we have whatever else, can we know what that shortage is, and can we know the progress we've made to achieving that shortage? And so I think if we do start demanding more detailed information, then we won't get these from them in regards to what it is, because they'll know very specifically what is it we expect from them.
Right.
And I think that's where the demand has to be.
That's a good
And then
idea.
We won't
Yep.
have to go through things through, is this one similar, that one similar to whatever else. And I think we demand more, we'll get more. Thank you.
Well, okay. I mean, I'm agreeing with you. We need to demand more. I don't know if we demand more, we'll get more. That doesn't seem to necessarily work in these things. But we can try. We can do it. We should do it. We need to do it. We must do it. Right, Laverne?
Agreed.
Okay. See these long pauses. You're making me nervous.
I mute my mic, right? So give me a minute to unmute my mic. Don't panic.
It's
Don't panic.
convenient pauses. Wow. All right. So the person.
No. If the caller is longer, I mute my mic.
I see. I get it. Before we go, the texter who said they had to do community service with a jumpsuit and everyone had to know what, that thing. Yes, they did send it a few years back, and they said they had made, they were accused of threats of death. Well, I hope you learned your lesson. Don't do those things. But yeah, no, haven't seen anybody in an orange jumpsuit around here in a. I can't even say ever.
Maybe I guess we don't do that anymore.
Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're talking with the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union. A lot to talk to them about. You don't want to miss it. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Sanity, baby, that ain't for me. That ain't for me. Oh no, we're thinking about you late night. No, we're running around with you.
When it comes to hearts, you seek the best care possible, work with the brightest minds, and leave no stone unturned to get to the heart of the matter. Because understanding is always the first step to overcoming. For every heart in the world, see how we're advancing the future of heart care at Cleveland Clinic today.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there, the Athlete's Foot and BTC, Games and More, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's Clocks and Island Lock, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
Are you searching for something new? Something exciting? Your dream job in paradise? Well, look no further. Royal Beach Club Paradise Island is hiring. Join a dynamic group of passionate hospitality professionals, craft unforgettable moments in a vibrant, welcoming atmosphere. Play your part in shaping the future of our team while growing your own career every day. Bring your energy, your passion, and your creativity to a workplace that's as dynamic and fun as you are. At Royal Beach Club Paradise Island, the opportunities don't just exist. They're limitless. So are you ready to find your perfect fit? Visit Royal Beach Club at paradiseisland.com/career today and step into a world of exciting possibilities.
As a healthcare professional, you dedicate your life to caring for others. But even with the best care, legal challenges can arise. Protect your practice and your peace of mind with medical malpractice insurance from Star General. At Star General, we've partnered with Lloyd's of London to bring you comprehensive professional liability insurance designed specifically for those consulting or practicing privately. Visit our website today so you can focus on what you do best, caring for your patients, while we take care of the rest. Star General, insurance made simple.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Was a deep sea diver, and when I want to, I was a taxi driver. I was a deep sea diver, and when I want to pass, I would match the gas. I was a taxi driver.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner on this Tuesday morning. And we are talking with the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union. We've got President Tyrone Butler and Vice President Stefano Wilkinson. Good morning, gentlemen. Great to have you with us.
Good morning. Thanks for having us, Mr. Strachan.
Good morning, sir. Pleasant good morning.
All right. So we have a lot to talk to you about. I don't even know where to begin. But let's talk about what was said last week. You said you've had enough. You can't take it anymore, and you're prepared to do some things. Is that still the position? We'll explain for those who don't understand what we're talking about in a bit. We'll work backwards. But is that still your position right now? There were claims about blocking the bridge if necessary and blocking of the airport. Is that where the taxi cab union still is at this point?
Well, good morning, Bahamas. The thing about it with the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union is nothing is off the table. All of our options are on the table. And so and when we're going to take any action because we believe in being responsible with whatever we do. Mm-hmm. So, as I said, nothing is off the table, but we are going to continue to press on and see if we can resolve some of these issues before we do what we got to do.
Okay. All right. So we'll come back to that in a bit. But let's talk about those issues. What would you say right now is the number one issue, the number one concern for taxi drivers in the taxi cab union?
The number one issue would have to be the way taxi drivers are being addressed in some respects, and the way the stakeholders are allowing taxi drivers right to work in an environment to be congested with other people. Mm-hmm. Chief among them is delivery drivers.
Right.
So when you look at the way the system is designed today, it allows for a legal entity, which is taxis, versus illegal entity, which is livery.
Mm-hmm. Now, why are you calling them illegal?
Because the law does not allow for them to be in the same space as taxi drivers. Mm-hmm. Now you can...
But they're not illegal overall.
They're not a legal franchise. They're not a legal franchise. They're operating illegally on the facility that wherever they are. For instance, Atlantis property, the international airport. Mm-hmm. Those are the two primary areas where they work from, right? And when I say illegal, the law does not provide for a livery franchise to be on the door.
To be in those spaces.
Yeah.
Taking cash jobs.
So they can exist, but they just shouldn't be there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
And so that is one of our main, that's kind of like the overriding problem for us. It's been a menace for years, long before I became president. And I can tell you, even before I became president, I can show you evidence of where I was in this fight, going all the way back with the former Minister Glennis Anna Martin. We've met with Deputy Prime Minister Diaglo on some occasions to address these issues. So we this isn't a fight that Tyrone Butler and Mr. Wilkinson just got into since I became president. This is a fight that I've been doing even before I became president.
Okay, so Mr. Wilkinson just handed me this with the rules here from the Road Traffic Department. Subsection 2 of Section 79 states that a livery car shall not be hired except by oral or written communications to the license holder at his usual place of business. So you just can't hail a livery at the airport or at a hotel. You need to have
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we had the Livery Drivers Association on with us last week. We asked the same question, why not just have people book them, right, prearrange it? And I think one of the responses was, we have to eat too. Is there no room for both to survive in this environment?
There is. All they have to do is follow the law like we do. Just book their business, prearrange it, come pick up their client. That is a choice they made, you know. They have the option to become taxi drivers too. If they desire, if their desire is to drive for a living, they can simply just turn their franchise in and ask the government to replace it with a taxi franchise, and they can be on the same line with the same vehicle. I will show you the same vehicles that they were talking about last week. Their high-end vehicles and their luxury cars. Those same cars are on the taxi line.
Right.
The very same cars. As a matter of fact, the car that I drive is an SUV. It's not the latest model. It's a 2017. I've had it since 2018. But, we have the very latest models, SUVs, with taxi plates on them. So there's nothing preventing them from putting a taxi plate on their vehicle. That is what they choose. If you choose to operate a franchise that calls for a specific way for your franchise to operate, why would you use it in contrary to that? You know what I mean? So your franchise doesn't allow you to be on the same line as taxi, but you want a livery franchise because you want to charge more and get more from your client, but you want to do it on the taxi. All we're saying is, fine, if that's your choice, go find your own niche market or wherever your own playing ground, but don't do it on our ground.
Right.
When you use the phrase, they have to eat too or they have to make a living too, should I accept that as saying, well, at my expense or at the taxi driver's expense? Because I will tell you, Dwight, part of the problem is most people in the media have no idea how bad it is, because I don't know if you've ever been to the airport and see it for yourself. And so when we talk to persons like you and different media personnel, they're asking questions based on what they believe and what they understand, but they don't ask questions based on what they know to be the facts.
Right.
And so if you were to come to the airport and you were to just stand there and observe, I would say about 80% of the job that those livery drivers take would have been a taxi job.
Wow.
These people, you see, first of all, they like to talk about their high end and they don't take taxi work and all that. Okay, let me suggest this to you. High end, and you're looking for the high end clientele, the persons. Those are people who are well thought out and well planned. They're not the person that's going to walk out the door and say, oh, let me see if I could find somebody who want to take me an SUV. No. Those people would have had their arrangements made, all right? The fact that they're there on the airport door and at Atlantis, having somebody solicit for them, because that's how they get most of their work. So when a guy or gentleman walk out, and I'll tell you another thing that's so strange about the airport, for example. If one customer walk out, they wouldn't speak to that guy or they wouldn't say anything. Party of 4, party of 5, party of 6 walk out, all of a sudden they're excited. Hey, guy, how about an SUV? If you're a high-end transportation service provider, how is it that you're selling a particular type of vehicle rather than a service? Livery is a service. It's not a particular type of vehicle, and that's why I said earlier, there's two types of vehicles. Two types of franchise, livery and taxi. Taxis can apply for hire anywhere. Liveries is supposed to generate their business from their office.
Right.
All right?
So the other thing that was said was that the customer needs options, and why not let there be options for whomever. If somebody wants this type of service, let them choose it, and if they want a different type, that's up to them. What do you say to that? That this is just an option to provide options?
Absolutely agree. Absolutely. I have no problem with that. Let the customer do it. But it's not the customer that's doing it. It's the greeter. It's the NAD personnel. It's the rep from Atlantis desk. It's the porters that's getting the luggage. These are the person that are choosing for the guests and coming out of the airport and saying, I need an SUV. Not the customer coming out and asking, what is my option? And then deciding, well, I'll take that. It is the individual who is bringing the customer to these livery drivers.
And how are those people choosing? What do
they
you
are
see?
choosing because they are rewarded.
Oh, boy.
They are rewarded for their effort. That's why they're choosing. If you go to Atlantis right now, and there's only 2 places at Atlantis they work, the Royal Towers, the Coral Towers, and then the Belmont. So imagine the taxi driver that's been there for 2 o'clock.
That's a serious claim.
I don't mind. I'll repeat it again.
Wow.
Royal Towers and the Cove. They're the only 2 towers at Atlantis you will find them gathering and parking there. And the bellman decides, I need an SUV or I need a town car. I say whatever they want. Atlantis is the only property, the only hotel property in this island where you have prices for livery, limo, SUV and town car posted on their door. The government, who is responsible for pricing, don't even have a price for those cars. So how is it that Atlantis can post a price for an SUV or livery, or SUV, a limo, or town car, when there's no price for those vehicles gazetted?
It's supposed to be up to the business.
Exactly. It's supposed to be up to the delivery driver and the customer negotiating their rate, not the hotel. So what that tells you.
Wow. All right, we need to take a break for news headlines. We'll pick this up on the other side. There's the claims. I want to ask you more about that, because what have you made those concerns clear? Have you told that you have evidence? Do you have evidence at all that people are getting paid under the table? We want you to respond to that when we get back. We're talking with the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union. This is Morning Blend. We'll take this into business in just a bit. Stay with us.
I was a goner, didn't see no dog, but heard a bark was me. Yeah, when I was a taxi driver, I was a deep. This is how we do it.
Get ready to kick off the new school year with a bang. It's the Guardian Media Group and Rotary Club of South Ocean's Back to School Jamboree. Friday, August 29th in the parking lot of the Nassau Guardian in Oakesville, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Join us for a day of fun, games, and back-to-school excitement. We've got something for everyone, from bouncing castles and face painting to health screenings, hair grooming, and giveaways. Meet some of your favorite local businesses and get ready for the new school. We'll have school supply vendors and local eateries with delicious treats. Don't miss out on the fun. The Guardian Media Group and Rotary Club of South Ocean's Back to School Jamboree. Friday, August 29th at the Nassau Guardians parking lot, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's the perfect way to celebrate the end of summer and get excited for a great school year. See you here.
Brought to you by
Island Wholesale, Splash of Sunshine, Purity Bakery, Janae's Uniform Center, Harry's, Celestial Treats, Sun Oil, Lowe's, A&N's Kitchen, Zelrona Mackey, Lumber Snack, Precious Curry, Robert Russell. And brought to you by the Delphinus Agency Limited.
Don't wait for a storm to arrive. Stock up on hurricane supplies, make home repairs, purchase a generator, and more this hurricane season with a Fidelity personal loan. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is the Guardian News Network update on the hour. A 37-year-old man was shot to death along Munnings Road last night. Police say officers on patrol in that area off Gladstone Road just before 8:30 p.m. first discovered a white Dodge Ram ablaze, then noticed a bullet-ridden gray Chevy Colorado truck nearby with a lifeless man lying outside near the driver's side door. He had multiple gunshot wounds to his body and was declared dead at the scene. That is the 58th murder this year. Still, National Security Minister Wayne Munro says government's crime plan is working as crime is down. And he criticized the opposition Free National Movement for simply taking crime-fighting measures already being carried out today by the Davis administration and presenting them to the public as their own crime plan. Munro, in a statement, said this government has, in the last 2 years, hired hundreds of additional police officers, equipped them with modern technology like body cameras, supported by CCTV and facial recognition technology, and enacted tougher laws governing bail and gang-related crimes. He said the safety of the Bahamian people is too important for politics. And the Ministry of Education says it is working to resolve the industrial matters which caused hundreds of public school administrators to stay off the job yesterday. The Bahamas Educators Managerial Union wants the pay and promotions due to its members finalized. The ministry says that clothing and transportation allowances owed to those officers will be paid through direct payment by early September with arrears addressed. It added that 9 outstanding reassignments were completed just yesterday. Confirmation matters for 37 officers remain under review, and that continuing promotion exercise, it said, will be completed without delay. That's what's making headlines at this hour. AP Update is next.
From around the world, these are the AP International News headlines. The United Nations says the Monday killings at Nasser Hospital in Gaza must be thoroughly and independently investigated. Spokesman Tamim Al-Kitan says 5 journalists were among the 20 dead.
The killing of journalists in Gaza should shock the world, not into stunned silence, but into action.
One is 33-year-old Mariam Dagher, a visual journalist who worked for the AP. Meanwhile, protesters in Israel have torched tires and blocked highways to demand a ceasefire to free the remaining hostages in Gaza. Rescuers in eastern Pakistan have evacuated tens of thousands of people after neighbouring India released water from overflowing dams and swollen rivers into low-lying border regions. The move comes a day after New Delhi alerted Islamabad of being the first public contact between the two nuclear-armed rivals in months. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. We are continuing our conversation with the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union. We've got President Tyrone Butler and Vice President Stefano Wilkinson with us, having a very interesting discussion this morning. Before the break, you made some very serious claims about what's happening at the airport. Do you have evidence that, as you mentioned, the porters, employees, I think, are being incentivized to pass customers on to liveries instead of taxis? Do you have evidence to support that? It's a very serious case.
Well, we have persons who have come off the livery line and now on taxi line, and they will tell us.
As in former livery drivers.
As former livery drivers, what they would do. And I've seen personally, when they're loading up their cars, they tap the guy, shake a hand. All right? It's not uncommon to tip persons, taxi drivers do it too, It's not uncommon to tip persons who are assisting you. But it is a pervasive thing with these livery drivers that their work, is supported by somebody else. They're not getting their request for their service directly from the guest or through a company. They are getting their work mainly through employees, porters, the reps who work at spaces, even the tour company employees, because they're allowed to be in the airport terminal and they can have conversation, and you see them walking up with guests, you would think that they are their customers. Only sometimes you see them walk them past their queue-up line and they'll call up a livery driver and, But again, Dwight, the problem that we experience on the airport is so grave, you wouldn't believe it if you would have come out there. And then road traffic officers are there. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're involved in soliciting, because why should a road traffic officer who works for the government be asking a customer or guest, what would you like? Would you like an SUV or a town car or a taxi? And then you start. The road traffic officer is not supposed to be engaged in selling transportation.
What are they supposed to be doing there?
They're supposed to be regulating the drivers, the public service drivers, mainly the taxi, and then since the delivery drivers are there, delivery drivers, making sure that their cars are in good working condition, make sure they're following the law. But they know the delivery drivers are there and breaking the law, but they're not saying nothing to them. They're engaging them and helping them to try and get a job.
Wow. So I asked you about options earlier. So one of the claims is that taxis versus deliveries. Deliveries have a flat rate, whatever it is. That's what it's going to be versus a taxi where often it's per luggage, per passenger, and the rate can go up and down. And is that a fair assessment? And this might be why delivery as opposed to a taxi?
That's garbage. Let me tell you why. They don't have a flat rate. They have a starting rate, all right? And oftentimes it can go up or down. But if you say that your SUV is $100, starting at $100 from the airport to Atlantis, and the customer says, I didn't expect to pay that, then they start negotiating. All right, how much you want? I'll do it for 90. All right, give me 85. Is that a service provider? Can you do that to the airline? Can you do that to the hotel? If you don't like the room rate or the airline fare, can you stand there until you get something that's reasonable for you? And the fact that you are actually talking about a type of vehicle that is actually available on the taxi line, it tells me you're not selling service. You're actually selling a type of vehicle. The only difference between the SUV on the livery line and the SUV on the taxi line is the color of the plate. The only difference. It's the same vehicle. I want to show you something. This is one of our SUVs on the taxi line, right? And they have those same SUVs on the livery line.
Right.
That's a taxi.
All right, so how much would that be, let's say, in a taxi if you're going from the airport to Atlantis and you had
If you were to
six
take
people?
if you were to take 6 persons in that, the rate starts at about $45 for the first two, and then $4 for each additional customer. So you're talking about an extra $16. And then the baggage charge, some bags are charged for and some are not. So you get the little small carry-ons that are, large and medium bags, they go for like $2 or $3 per bag. But each customer is entitled to one, roughly between taxi rate, roughly between 60, maybe 70, and that's basically, guessing because you got to see the bags.
Right.
Right? They will tell a customer, a delivery driver will tell a customer that's 120 or 100.
Right.
Now, why should a customer, a visitor who comes to this country have that option to go between a $70 fare and a $100 fare? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, if that's their market they want to operate in, fine. I don't have a problem with that. But why are you doing it on the space that is allotted for taxis?
Right.
You see, if you go to the airport, all right, and this is how you know the difference between us and them. The government has yellow markings on the ground. The law provides for that. Taxis, yellow markings would say loading zones. Nowhere in the island you will find a marking that says livery. Nowhere on no public ground you will find a marking. If they were to be downtown, you know why there's no marking? Because they're not supposed to be there. That's why you have taxi parkings all over the island painted in yellow. You will never see a marking. You go to any of the hotels, there's no provisions in the law made for livery drivers to park anywhere. They're supposed to be parked at their place of business. The fact that NAD sold them an AVI tag to get into the airport, have access to the airport, NAD is breaking the law. You see? And they're aided by the government. They're aided by the government because the government is allowing NAD to allow these livery drivers that shouldn't be there at the airport just hanging around, hustling jobs. And then the only thing you're going to say, they got to eat too?
All right, so this is, as you said, a long-standing issue. You showed me letters going back as far as 2005. You've been in talks with the government. What's the latest you've heard from the government on this?
Well, I've had a few meetings with the minister, and that's a cry too. They got to live too. So I don't know how much we're gonna get out of that, but we'll continue to talk. But if the government is, they'll have to tell us. We're trying to get a meeting with the Prime Minister, and he's got to tell us if that's the government's position, that these guys got to eat too, and they will allow them to continue to operate the way that then, we'll then press on with our plans.
Mm-hmm.
But as
and
it
you
is,
can't tell us more about that.
we are a member of the Bahamas Commonwealth Trade Union Congress, headed by the O.B. Ferguson, and so we take our cue from Mr. Ferguson and affiliate members, and so we are constantly communicating with our leader from Congress to guide us in the direction. I'll tell you, when I first became president, I was replacing the former president, which was we were a member of the Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress, headed by Belinda Wilson, and so automatically when I became president, I assumed his role, which was the second vice president of Congress. I can tell you, immediately when we met with Ms. Wilson and started to, get acclimated to the new Congress, almost instantly it was an uneasy feeling. We never could fit in that organization because
the Livery Drivers Association is also part of that Congress.
Absolutely, and so that made no sense to us. We tried. We had a number of meetings. We tried to get to a good place with them, but it was just an untenable situation for us. So we had to sever ties with that organization.
Wow. Well, since you made those claims about your plans and the bridge and the airport, of course, many people have come out and say, well, what you try to do is shoot the golden egg, the golden goose in the head. What do you say to that? That why would you even make threats like that, knowing how precarious the tourism situation is in the country?
Well, I don't know why the country or persons would want to put that on the taxi drivers, because if the government was serious about the tourism industry, they would not let the tourism industry be serviced in such a way. Wouldn't you agree? Would you allow precious tourists to be hustled, and ripped off by who want to give themselves as high-end drivers? Would you allow a company like Atlantis or NAD to allow persons to operate on the properties illegally? You're concerned with the tourists, and you allowing you might as well allow the guy to go over there and sell drugs.
Wow.
If you're going to allow the delivery drivers to operate,
that's a bit of a jump. But
the point I'm making, Dwight, is in one breath they're saying, "Oh, this is vital to the country," but if it's vital to the country, why not service it in the best way we can? Mm-hmm. Why allow for two competing fractions to be arguing and hustling and I can't. It gets ugly sometimes.
When we've heard there's been some violence, even
it gets ugly, and that's not because the livery drivers are there. It's just because the government has no control over it. They've allowed it to kind of get out of hand. They have sometimes road traffic officer there, but it's almost like a waste of time. When you have officers that the government put out there, it's a joke. Yeah. And so a lot of this has to do with poor governance.
Okay, we're talking with Tyrone Butler and Stefano Wilkinson with the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union. We've got a lot of text messages. We want to get through these because I want to talk to you about the other threat that you see, rideshare business, and so much more going on in your sector. We'll get to that in a bit. But let's take these calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning. How you doing, sir?
Doing well.
All right, that's good. And good morning to your panelists and guests.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
I would like to say, firstly, I am a livery driver. That's why I took this time to wait and stay on hold. The first thing I would like to ask, you were handed some excerpt, call it a little piece of the Road Traffic Act by the Taxi Cab Union earlier. And does it expressly say livery is to operate prearranged only? It doesn't. And that is one of the initial concerns here. However, there are instances in the Road Traffic Act where prearranged is specifically mentioned, and they are only mentioned to tow cars and omnibus services with the Road Traffic Act. Okay? There are some interpretations, I guess, that can be received from this. So that's the first thing. And the Taxi Cab Union is using a piece of the act to try to attack delivery drivers. But expressly and specifically, prearranged is only mentioned to omnibus and tow cars. My second concern here is if you ask the president of the Taxi Cab Union what type of vehicle he drives, I'm sure he will tell you he drives an SUV.
He said it already, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you have, and we're going to talk finances and maths. Is it practical for SUVs to run between cost, fuel, and everything to run as taxis? No, but because there has been less enforcement by the Road Traffic Department, you have taxi drivers overcharging guests, taxi drivers running as SUV drivers, and you also, if you walk out to the airport right now, there is no taxi price list at the airport. And so, bear in mind, I'm coming from the delivery perspective. Now, this matter has been addressed.
Okay, before we go on, so I'm a little confused. So is it the vehicle or is it the service that is the issue here? Because I'm sure there could be.
See, what he's talking about is, in his mind, when somebody asks for an SUV, they automatically assume that somebody's asking for a livery service.
Delivery drivers are.
Yeah. SUV.
Do you agree with that, caller? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. That's his word. He said that's in his mind.
But you brought up that he has an SUV, though.
I brought up the fact that your taxi drivers operating illegally as SUV drivers.
Okay, but aren't they two different things? I mean, you could be can't you be a taxi driver, but you just happen to drive an SUV? Are you saying that SUVs should be reserved only for livery drivers?
No, what I'm saying is that the Road Traffic Act speaks to specific, in terms of specific for taxis. They should have meters. Their signs should be boldly posted. Their price should be posted. They should. So the road right now, nothing is being enforced by the Road Traffic Department. You have taxi drivers operating from a cube, a van. They operate in any vehicle, any number. They charge whatever. And the challenge here is that this number one concern is you have taxi drivers, him being one of them, who has mainly been overcharging guests, operating like a livery drivers, and now attacking livery drivers. Right now, he just showed you a picture of SUVs. It's not practical for taxi drivers to operate an SUV in this country as a taxi and run for the minimum rate. He, too, has been and probably will continue to operate illegally and break the law.
Okay, let's get them to respond to that. Thank you so much. Well, those are...
Good morning, everyone. I just want to be clear. So is the caller saying that, taxi drivers aren't supposed to, they're only supposed to drive particular vehicles? They aren't supposed to offer SUVs?
No, see...
I'm just trying to be clear.
Yeah, what he's assuming and he's wrong, because we can, as long as a 4-door vehicle, you can have that as a taxi. It doesn't have a certain design for taxi to be franchise to be on. He's trying to assume that because the taxi has a franchise on an SUV or a town car, it shouldn't be. In this country, it doesn't determine the type of vehicle that the franchise go on. Right. Because if that be the case, from the inception, the government have made us say, hey, we only can have a certain type of car.
Right.
You know what bothers me is that guest comes out from the airport. The guests are, even like I said, the airports that the guests want an SUV. We have the SUVs, taxis right on the door. Sometime when I be there, the guests ask to come. So if this is an SUV on the door, this is a taxi, why are you taking me across the road for a certain type of vehicle? Because you selling a vehicle saying that you have an SUV or a town car. But as here they cross the street, park right there in the taxi zone area. So guests many ask, oh, what's the price of going with this car versus that car? And you giving us the same car. I encountered this many times over the Atlantis. I was standing on the door. The guest, the bellman said to the guest, how can I get you a town car? So the guest said, no, I don't want a town car. He said, you sure I can get you a nice town car? He said, no, I don't want a town car. So, okay, here it is. The bellman called for the first taxi. What appears? A taxi, town vehicle, this is a town car, okay? So the guest got upset and started cursing. I just told you I don't want a town car. But now you're trying to explain to guests, oh, this is a taxi. The guest is stupid. He said, well, you just was trying to sell me a town car, but this is the same vehicle. This is the same vehicle you call up now to send, to take me where I have to go.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing to the airport. You requesting a certain vehicle, but here it is. These vehicles we have right on the door.
Well, that clearly needs to be cleared up, right? And it can't be based on the vehicle, unless it's maybe a limousine. Right. I could see a limousine being an issue
because that's a different.
That's very different. But an SUV is equivalent to the station wagons of the '80s,
right?
So
see,
it doesn't
when he speaks about bags and all this kind of stuff, this is something the government have implemented on the rate sheet for bags. This is what the taxi driver came up with. This is something simply go for pets. This is something the government has put in their pricing pertaining to the taxi. That ain't nothing to do with us. And we see every day the airlines going up with bags and everything. So that's not something that the taxi drivers implement. And to piggyback on what he's saying, me and Mr. Butler just implement a post that said to tell the taxi drivers no price gouging. Okay, because many times the guests go in these same private SUV and delivery whatever, and they think it's a taxi, charge them that. Because far as I'm concerned, when he said that these different entities bring these guests out, the first thing the guests thinking, it's a taxi. And when they got these prices of $120, $150, $100, at the end of the day, they put the blame on us. Because the guests don't know to distinguish the difference between the taxi and the SUV.
Because they didn't order it.
Exactly.
So they think it's a taxi.
So automatically we get the blame for the pricing.
Absolutely. Oh boy. But I want to go back to something the caller said earlier. He said that I'm overcharging, and because I did you corrected him when you said I did mention I drive an SUV. Sometimes first thing they ask, wait, what is the price? Because they say they're going on a nice SUV. I say, sir, I point to the sign on the door, and I point to the taxi plate, a yellow plate. Sir, you're being charged a taxi rate. Don't mind the vehicle. The vehicle is not going to determine the price. Your price is determined by what is posted by the government. You can ask anybody at that airport. A lot of persons will tell you, they see me down there doing pickup all the time. You know why? Because a lot of those are return guests. Those are pickups that people like the service that I give, and they like the price. And I've been hearing this thing about, the president he's charged a SUV price. Why would I do that? My car's licensed as a taxi.
Okay, so this came up last week, that taxi drivers have developed rapport with the guests and they get repeat visitors. Is that not quite like a livery service? If the person says, I'm going to come to town, I want you to be there for me, have you not crossed the line by that point? How do you explain that?
You mean with persons prearranging taxi?
Yeah.
There's nothing in the law that says if you drive somebody today and they leave next week and they say, I'm going to keep your number and call you back, that's a client you book. So there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's good for the taxi driver. We wish more taxi drivers would do that. That would make the line a little bit shorter. And I can tell you, I have you know how many of those mega yachts that be in the Atlantis Marina and other marinas are clientele of mine, and they refer business to me because of the service that I give. So I have a lot of, and I mean, just yesterday I had to take 2 other SUVs with me to pick up a party from the Cove.
Yeah.
And the rate that we charge is way less than the livery drivers, but we offer.
Right.
Okay, we'll continue.
Service. When you offer service, money will always come behind you.
Yeah.
The drivers could tell you I always preach this. Running behind money, you ain't gonna get nowhere. If you offer service, money will automatically come behind you. That's in any business. Okay? If you present yourself with good service, you will always have returning customers.
I mean, I hear you. I mean, it sounds great, but it sounds like livery service to me. But then what do I know? I don't know. No.
I'm trying to just trying to get clear. According to the law, the taxi drivers, we know that they can pick up their fares. They can also do pre-booking. But livery drivers only can do pre-booking. They can't just be at the airport or at the hotel hoping to get a job. This has to be pre-arranged.
Right.
Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so they're restricted to pre-arrangements. The taxi drivers can be parked as well as they could have return customers or pre-arranged booking.
Right. See, and that is why I said earlier, you don't see any markings for livery on the road. You don't see any provisions made for livery drivers to be parked. And see, they speak a lot of times out of ignorance, because if you're saying that somebody wants a town car, an SUV, that's automatically a livery driver's job, that's ignorant. Because the person, you see, they're not selling their service, you know. If you go there to the airport right now, watch what they will say to the guests. And you know how sometimes they get a job? They get a job, they'll say, "Hi, folks, where you going? I need a ride. You need transportation?" Listen to the word. "You need transportation?" "Yes." "Where you going?" "Atlantis." All right. They never said they were in a livery. And I can tell you, when I used to be on the line at Atlantis, and I can tell you of other taxi drivers who, when they're taking the guest back from the hotel, the guest will say, "No, I'm not paying more than this." Because when they tell you the rate that they paid, you'd be like, "Well, that's not even a taxi rate." Wow. It meant that they came in a SUV or a livery driver who charged them more, and and very, very seldom they get return people. A lot of times they drop people off. It's always one way. People don't call them back. Some of them do, but man, the guy's gonna splurge when he just reached. But when he didn't spend $5,000, $6,000 on his stay, you think you want to pay $100 to go back to the airport? No, just give me a taxi.
Wow.
Okay, let me. The lady asked a question. If I pick you up from the airport, let's say you requested a taxi, and I pick you up from the airport, and I take you home, and you felt comfortable with me, okay, you felt that I offer you good service, I was very communication-wise, talk to you, because I have a lot of locals there. When you and your family about to go to the airport, okay, and you say, okay, well, I need arrangements for 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. If you felt, and I give you my card, would you feel, you say, well, Stefano was the person who took us home. You wouldn't feel comfortable and call me back to offer the same service back to you to the airport if you decided to go away?
No, I'll call you every time. That's how I am. If the service was good, I'm not looking.
Right, because see, you didn't look at the vehicle. You look at the service that I offer you and the communication that we had taking you home. Because I have a lot of clientele between Treasure Cove and Lively, Old Bay, I mean, even locally in the inner city. And because the communication by us conversating, they always said, "Can I have your card?"
Yeah.
Because you look at, they ain't looking at the vehicle. I mean, I have a 2024 Toyota Hiace. I have a brand new vehicle. But they're not looking, they say, okay, you have a nice vehicle. that's all good and dandy. But if I'm not offering service and communicating and we having a one-on-one, the vehicles doesn't make a difference. So my thing is, if I'm driving an SUV, you now have to present yourself. The car can't present themselves.
Right.
You have to present yourself and you're offering service. And this is where you get a return. So when a lot of my guests from the United States, they didn't look at me as to say, well, the type of vehicle I'm driving. They love my company when they come here. When I recommend them to various places because they want, many times I get to the point where I had mugs and pens made up with my information on it. So when they get home and they're coming back, the first thing they look for their mug and they see my information. Obviously, they're going to call me.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's take these calls really quickly. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Are you there? Good morning. Hi.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hey, yes, Dwight. Let me ask the gentleman, is there something a minute? Does every taxi is required to have a meter?
No, sir. The government...
A taxi does not require to have a meter?
No, let me explain to you, sir. The government decided some years ago that they were going to do away with meters because meters have been a problem because people were tampering with them. They didn't work consistently. And so the government came up with a new strategy.
The government decided to get rid of the meter?
Well, I mean, the government implement what is called a zone rate.
Wow.
And the zone rate tells you the rate that you should pay for one or two persons from Atlantis to the airport, Atlantis to downtown, Atlantis to the mall, Atlantis to Foxwoods.
So do they still have that zone rate sheet in the back of the taxi on the driver's seat so the customers in the back can see it?
No, they
moved that too.
They never were. I mean,
I caught taxis home where they have a white piece of paper and a laminated with to Paradise Island is X amount of dollars, the Cable Beach is X amount of dollars.
that would have been that individual driver's way of saying to his customer, this is what the rates are.
But in closing, because I know you have a lot of calls.
Yeah.
I had to park my car by my sister's place right to the corner there by Nesbitt, right there by Bucky Johnson, live right after there. I had to ask at least 4 drivers before they take me from the airport there. At least 4 different, and the one who take me there, he knew me because I'm also in the public service business. I have a couple buses on the road. He knew me. That is why, because he used to drive bus. That is why he took me. He said, man, I ain't gonna give you that. That's a little job. That fella's waiting to go to Paradise Island or something. And it's unfair to the BMN people. But I had a friend I met the other night. And they called about 3 taxi drivers, never came. They call this thing now, I can't pronounce the name properly, Uber. In less than 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I said, that person had to be there on the corner. In less than 3 minutes, they call in and say they outside.
Well, that
and I don't live in a bad area. I mean, any area could be bad. But I think I live in a good area.
All right, let's get him to respond to that. So that's going to be one of the questions, the notion, the perception that taxis have abandoned the local customer, that are only focused on the airport and the hotels.
Well, let me say this. I took some locals the day, and I was surprised because they were only going from the airport to Tropical Garden, and they actually asked for an SUV, and I was surprised because when I quoted the price and gave the guy the price, he said, no, man, I can do better than that.
What was the price?
I told him it was based on him and his wife and the luggage, because he had a hell of a lot of luggage, $45. He asked for...
That's pretty close, though.
Yeah, but he specifically asked for a big vehicle, and he had probably about 8 to 10 of those big, large duffel bags.
And that price would be based on what the government has put in place.
Yeah, because you're looking at about $25 for the ride, just him and his wife, right? And then the bags. But the guy decided to give me $75, almost double. I guess he probably didn't expect to get charged so little. But I mean, that's just an example. Wow. So people always make us seem like we're overcharging, but the government can fix a lot of these issues, Dwight. for example, like the baggage charge. The government could simply do away with that and just up the price, right? And have a flat, simple pricing. They can do that. A lot of times, these challenges that people face on the door, the government can fix that.
Mm-hmm.
All they need to do is have road traffic on these doors, right? So when a customer comes out, the first taxi in line takes the first job, and if it does, and if you don't, there's a consequences for that.
Yeah.
A lot of things you hear about is a result because there's no enforcement on these lines. In fact, we sent a letter. In our letters that we sent to the Prime Minister, we talked about that because you go to that airport anytime after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's like a war zone. It's chaos.
Well, you say the government could have fixed it. I mean, couldn't the government have ordered better meters or ordered that you all get better meters and tamper-resistant meters? And is there not a better way? Do you feel that the meters were really a problem? That it wouldn't be better to have a meter system?
Let me say this. This was something that happened before I became president. And when I just started in the business, when the meters were in place.
Right.
And I can tell you, maybe in the second year of me coming into the business, they said, these meters, they're a headache. So the government decided to go. The good thing about a zone rate is you can know what your bill is before you get to where you're going. Because before you get into a taxi, and I think the government posted the signage back at the airport, and it's posted at all the hotel doors, there's a poster there that tells you what the rate is. You can see what the rate is. Okay. And before you get in the taxi, you could confirm that. Because when I used to be on the door on a regular basis, I always tell the guests, when they ask me the price, I give them the price based on what is posted or what I know it to be. And the last thing I say to before you leave, confirm the price with your driver. And that's an option that the guest can. You don't have to always just get in the car and assume that you're going to get charged, which you think you should. Just confirm with the driver before you get in your car. What is the price going to be? And the driver is obligated to give you that price. Now I've had instance. Go ahead.
Back though to what the caller said, and just get your response to. Excuse me, because Dwight has heard it before and we said it before. It's been said before that there is a reluctance with taxi drivers to pick up locals, whether it's from the airport or if they are wherever they live and they need a taxi service. Now, I know that you said that you do it, but I'm just speaking generally.
Yeah.
Well, we have plenty of taxi drivers that service the local market. We have a taxi driver, the vice president will show you in a second, who recently designed a new app and a new ride share. So we have talented taxi drivers. We're servicing the local market. It's just that there are some people who kind of blow this situation up and make it seem like taxi drivers are against locals, and that's not really the case. I can tell you there are a lot of taxi drivers who have locals as their customers. Just this morning, a relative of mine needed a taxi service, and she always calls me, but I asked my daughter to go and do it for me. So, I mean, we have plenty of local customers that we serve.
Just to get back to you, and you remember now we have an international side and we have a domestic side, okay? Where on the domestic side, is that saying that we don't carry locals? We carry everybody, from the grandmother to the cousins. On domestic side also.
Jump to the airport.
To the airport.
Yeah. But if I call you from Chippingham and I want to go to Oaks Field.
I will come for you.
Yeah?
See, okay, when I was growing up, we know about the 35111. We know the meter cap. We know about the taxi union also had a number where you can access and call. Over the years, that has went away. Now that we are a new administration just coming in, I'm going to show you right here where I'm now focusing on the local market, because as a market out there, I know it's very strong. Because, the minister put a letter that you can't be this Uber stuff. We're now coming up, and I can show you right here, where we have now targeting the local market where we want back. Because, like I said, me growing up, I know about it. So I know the general public didn't have any number access to call for a taxi anywhere between the hospital, the clinics, the food store. But now that we are in office, we are new administration, and our vision is different. I have, Rachel, I'm showing you right now, Mr. Strachan, that we are now where you could, apps is a way to go, okay? Also, we're now looking at the point of getting to, can call us for vehicles, for taxi. Because when we had met with the minister, we said to the minister that we understand that part of the 3511 and the union. So now that we are new administration, we're going back to the local market. Okay, so that's what.
So only taxi drivers are the drivers for this, or are you looking for?
Only taxi driver, because I know deliveries ain't going in the inner city like the local taxi driver. You can forget it. Anybody can go in Sunshine Park and take their so-called SUV or whatever to go look for the local market. So if you see this, we just say local taxi app. You have to have the requirements by your insurance, your public service badge, all the requirements, the same thing would we have now in the road traffic certifiers. So every taxi driver we are having them come on in this app. So when you go onto this app and you scan the app, you can now see the type of vehicles, because sometimes you might have a big family, you might have one person, you might have 10 persons or more. When the minute you go on the app, you will see the option. Also, it has a pricing where you go from the first two to the additional person. So it's nothing where you can say you go on there and you can start overcharging, because automatically you can see through the app.
Right. And you pay with credit card.
Right, because what we're trying to do, we're trying to eliminate the cash. We want to go cashless because we understand the plight of you going in a certain area, you feel like uncomfortable. So we're trying now to see if we can go there and make it cashless as much as we can. Yeah. Some people might just have cash, we understand that. But we're targeting the local market. I don't want nobody think that we only looking at the dock or the hotel. We're coming for the locals.
So what percentage of your taxi driver is going to be dedicated to that? Because like you heard the caller said that you call a taxi.
Right. See, we now, like I said, we're a new administration, and we are looking to at least, I want to get at least 90% of my drivers. I'm trying, because when I suppose I have a general meeting with all of them to implement them to, this is the way to go. You don't always have to sit on the line. You'll be surprised, you might get 6 calls from a local.
Okay, and the rideshare companies seem to be doing it. How much of a problem are these rideshares that exist now for the taxis?
We're not focused on those rideshare because that is something that is not a fight that we, want to get into. That's a government responsibility. See, first of all, people got to be careful when they see things out there. Everybody talking about Uber. Uber is a company that carries liabilities for their drivers. The drivers who work and who operate on the Uber, if they get in an accident, Uber, the parent company, takes all the liability. Here in the Bahamas, people who advertise as Uber, they are doing a disservice to the persons they drive. Somebody wants to go on an app and say, I can call up an Uber like the guy just did. That's fine. What he doesn't realize, something happened, God forbid, in that person's car, there's no liability. Yeah. The insurance company, and that's another fight that we're going to be addressing in due course, hopefully before our term up.
Okay.
Because this insurance industry have to be careful on the type of these vehicles that are using private vehicles for hire.
Right.
And that is something that, persons are taking a chance that,
You guys are going to have to come back because the phone lines are lit up. So many questions. I want to get back to you, Stefano, to what you mentioned. So if we call this, are we going to be charged taxi rates?
Taxi rate. You cannot charge no, because it's already said that you cannot charge no high rate.
Right.
Because it says a taxi local app. You have to go according to the government rate. You cannot go on there. That's not the rate where they get charge you more than what the taxi rate is at.
Because those Bahamian fake Uber people are not doing that.
See, they're going to tell you, I'll carry you for $2. But here it is now. You carry me for $2, but here gasoline is almost $6 a gallon.
But Dwight, the thing about it is, we're not. If somebody chooses to advertise themselves as Uber, and I know of a gentleman who's been advertising $10 from the airport. He has nothing to lose. That's $10 he can get, right? And probably with tip. But he wasn't doing nothing. He's using his personal car. So if he could make a couple of dollars, on what does he has to lose? You see, now the app, I'll be honest with you, the rate that is quoted in the app, it's a service app. So the rate is slightly above because you're getting a service. That's like a prearranged service. So,
Right.
but that's the beauty of it, that you don't have to. You see, because you can't expect to pay the same rate you would pay as if you walk out in the taxis on the line. So when you call that, you're actually demanding a service from a service provider. So,
Okay.
so the rate is slightly, maybe $1 or $2.
All right, so we want to get to the calls, but really quickly. So the government sets the rates, and we know that there was recently a price increase, which blew a lot of people's minds, including mine, because, again, the rates are kind of high. It sounds like, although I understand what you're saying, the gasoline prices and the wear and tear on the cars with these roads, absolutely, I get your plight, but it still sounds high, like it's a big leap from a bus to catching a taxi. But should these rates be looked at? Should they be lowered to encourage more folks to not have to get a car and use taxis more frequently?
Well, everybody seems to think these taxi rates are high. But if you compare them to rates that you would pay in the U.S., you'll see they're almost the same, or in some cases lower, right? But
really?
I'm telling you, because look at it this way. In the U.S., things are much cheaper. They manufacture everything. Over here, look at what we pay. Look at the inflation rate. Look at what we pay for bread, milk, juice. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. I show up to work at the airport first thing in the morning. I need my car clean. I start out, I ask the little guy in the parking lot to clean my car, $15, $20. All right? That's out of my pocket. I didn't get the first job. I go on the door, I get a job for $30. I already paid $15.
Right.
So 15 out of that 30 is gone. You see what I'm saying? So my net income at that point after my first job is what, $15 for the day? All right? I live in the East, so imagine how far I had to drive from the East out to the airport to go to Bahama. I'm not complaining about that. People don't see what it is, a taxi driver. Now I come back to the airport after my first job. I need to get lunch. The lady in the recreation room, I buy a dinner or lunch from her, $8 to $10. You see how people don't think of all these things that a taxi driver, they think we just making money. But a taxi driver has to spend that same money back, and we pump more money into the local economy than probably any other sector. Because we're the ones that's making money on a daily basis. Think about all the taxi drivers around this island who make probably an average of $80 to $100 a day, and they go home to their families, and they got to spend maybe $50, $60 out of that, getting the kids ready for school, buying grocery, buying something. That's money that's, to be fair to them.
And
it's money they stole from us.
Oh boy!
And if you look at the zone rate, let me just say right quick. You go in, we have a zone rate going into Live Key versus going to Mount Pleasant, which is in the same location. It's a different price because they have a price on the zone rate. For local price, we're going in the same area at Live Key. So Live Key will probably be about $35, and for a taxi to go to Mount Pleasant, it's $25. And it's the same thing. If you look on the zone rate, when we go in the inner city price is different from we go into the hotel or we go into the thing. The governors already sit down and designed that.
Okay. All right. I hear you. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? No, we had a lot of people holding for a very long time. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight and Laverne. How y'all doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
And who's the guest in there from the taxi?
We've got Tyrone Butler and Stefano Wilkinson.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Butler and Wilkinson.
Morning,
How are y'all
sir.
doing?
Morning. Pretty good, sir.
I'm listening to the conversation. Very interesting conversation. by the way. And as a Bahamian, I also stand with, I am a supporter of the government, let me make that clear. But I also understand the roles of unions. And so I also heavily support unions, as you all are the last hope for workers in the country across all sectors, period. And so I think that the government should always do what interest to ensure ease of access for unions, as well as that should translate to the benefit for the Bahamian public. And so against that backdrop, listening to your conversation, it seems to me as though y'all are having an issue because of how you all are located. It especially at the airport, it seems to me as though you all need to be placed, or a representative, someone who's vetted, properly trained, and can be trusted, someone who's credible with integrity, ought to be placed on the inside, because on the inside is where the activity takes place before you even get to the outside. It seems, based on what you all are explaining, that perhaps persons from private entities, whether it be at the hotels, at the airport, or whether it be at the hotels on their location where they actually own, or whether it be not private personnel, are creating a lot of the issues that you all are facing. But you all can't address those if you all are on the outside, only receiving a call after the fact. And so to my mind, whenever you all sit at the table again, that is where the issue needs to be ironed out. Representatives needs to be placed on the inside of the government entity, which is privately managed, where the government has a stronger control over what happens at NAD versus what happens at the private entity's location itself, being the hotels. And I believe that as it relates to the hotels, the very same thing needs to happen. And to my mind, how is it that if you're a livery operator, right? How is it that you're hanging around just freely? I believe that you all can better control that if the livery drivers operate using your line as well, where you can hold the level of accountability and where you can hold the level of honesty to a much greater degree, rather than just having them pull up here, pull up there, pull up here, pull up there. I believe they should run through the same taxi line. That way you can address two birds, or as the Bahamian people say, kill two birds with one stone. I'll end the contribution right there.
Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity, Dwight. Go ahead.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. This is one of my biggest things. And if you travel, when you travel, you get off the airline, you see signage from you come off the airline straight down to wherever you're going to, baggage claim, transportation, to a shuttle or a taxi, whatever. I make this cry, and anybody can call and let me know if I'm saying right or wrong. When you come here in the islands of the Bahamas, in the airport, we were looking, there's no sign from immigration straight down to say there's taxis, transportation, whatever the case may be. The only sign is on the outside where we stand up and receive the guests as dispatchers.
Wow.
And we asked NAD over and repeatedly, put signage from immigration straight down on the outside, because when guests know, and we travel, guests means a lot. Okay? And the same thing we asked to the up down Bay Street. The taxi sign is marked on the ground. If you ride over that sign, how would you know if in a private vehicle? How do the authorities know that it's a taxi?
Yeah.
We asked them to put pole stand-up signs that they could indicate guests when you're walking by, they know that, hey, there's a taxi right here.
Yeah.
Because when you go in America and you drive into the parking lot, signs is there. The problem at the airport and downtown, the signage problem, and that's why guests waver all over the place looking for vehicle, and then that's why these fellas, everybody can intercept them and put anything on them. There's no proper signage at the airport other than when you get on the outside where we stand up by the dispatcher.
All right, we are out of time. I got to ask you this. A Texas person says, I noticed, I'm surprised by this, I noticed African and Haitian taxi drivers on Goodman's Bay with the tourists. The union needs to do something about this. Is that happening?
Again, though, a lot of times people ask for the union to take care of things. These are authorities' problems. These are problems that the authority has to. A lot of these issues have to be dealt with by the authorities because no individual can drive a public service vehicle unless they're giving a public service driver's license by the authorities. We don't have the ability. Our job is not to discipline or punish persons who drive a public service. Our job is to represent their rights. That's what we exist to do.
Okay.
So all of the problems that they complain about taxi, they should be dealt with by the authorities.
Wow. And finally, this person says, I recently landed here from the United States. I was bombarded by taxi drivers. Comfortable. The system needs to be better organized.
Is in taxis. See, the problem is, like I said again, no proper signage. So delivery around the door, taxis around the door, everybody shouting, come this way, come that way, come this way, come that way. Obviously, guests can be frustrated because the people in authority are there to make sure to see that the guests get whatever their proper service is. Yeah. But if you don't have no order, like Mr. Butler said, after 3 o'clock is get, all we asking you all, the public, come up there and observe. Don't take just our word for saying it. Come and observe and see what we go through on a daily basis. Yeah. And like I said, just quick before we close out, you see where they said the controller and the committee. When I came in this business 25 years, I had to go before a committee to get it vetted. Today is only go to Bahamas, come to road traffic, get a badge and go. So that's where the problem comes in when you see the Africans and Haitians one coming in, because the people are not properly be vetted. Wow. And you cannot blame the Department of Taxi Cab Union for it. We got to blame the authority that who's supposed to issue these badges.
Yeah. All right, so we've got 30 seconds. You say you're not going to tell us more about what you'll do next, but at least do you have a deadline, a time in your mind, a time frame where you want action, before you decide what's next?
Well, we again, I'll tell you, we take our cue from the president of our Congress. We put all of our issues on the table, and we discuss with our affiliate members in the Congress, and so there's ongoing discussions on what is our next move. But as I said, in between, we are still trying to get some communications going, and hopefully, if they're willing to resolve some of these issues, but I don't see, it looks very dim.
Oh boy. Tyrone Butler and Stefano Wilkinson, thank you so much for being with us this morning with the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union. Appreciate talking with you. We're going to have you back.
That's no problem.
But thanks again. Appreciate it. Laverne Gardner, thank you so much for being here on a Tuesday. Have a good one. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Remember, folks, pick up today's Guardian and for the Guardian Business section, brought to you in part by CFAL, and register now for the CFAL Pension and Economic Conference, October 16th at the Bahamar Convention Center under the theme Resilience in the Face of Global Uncertainty. This half-day event offers expert insights on navigating today's shifting economy. Visit cfal.com for more information. On the Clock with Aaron Green next.
Was a deep sea diver, and when I want to pass, I would mash the gas. I was a taxi
At
driver.
CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. You and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
With RBC,
your ideas become plans.
Your plans become memories.
This is retirement.
And your dreams become your life.
whether it's planning that family vacation, owning your dream home, or retiring comfortably, your ideas are everything. And RBC is here to help make them happen. With RBC, your ideas happen here.
You try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can